Death bowling issues? What death bowling issues? Respond the Rajasthan Royals, just 39 of the last 6, 4 wickets among them, and Yuzvendra Chahal with his magic on a milestone day as he becomes the IPL's most prolific wicket taker. He wears an ill-fitted purple cap on his head just as we speak to look back at the Knight Riders innings that lost its steam after being 101 for 3 and Andre Russell beginning to turn it on. It went horribly wrong for them after that 14th over. So, thoughts from Ian Bishop, and Matt Rollis slotted in to Deep Das Gupta's chair, which he's promised me he'll vacate by the end of the day, as we try and make sense of why that innings ended at 149, where both Bish and Deep went in the 170, 180 range. Bish, not the easiest surface, but is it a 149 surface?
No, I don't think it's straightforward. It's a slow surface. I don't think it's a big spinning surface, just slow. I don't think 149 would be par. I think par is a little bit more than that, maybe 160, 165, perhaps. But great credit to the way Sanju Samson and his team fielded, first of all. They perhaps saved about, I guess, 10, 15 runs in the field. Sure. The use of Yuzvendra Chahal, again, deep into the innings, as you pointed out before the show started, was absolutely critical. And every time they looked to be building a partnership and going, Rajasthan were able to pick up a wicket or two. Yeah,
we have to talk about the last 6, because that's where I guess this game has been decided. They gave themselves a bit of a platform. They lost a few early, Matt, but pre-show we were talking about spin being used as a potent, aggressive option at the death when you don't have perhaps the same stocks in with pace, which now clearly looks like the way the Rajasthan Royals will go.
Yeah, and I think particularly so in this game, and given the circumstances of the pitch as well. But I think if you look at that engine room of KKRs, of Russell, Rinku Singh and Shardul Thakur, say that's one of the sort of strongest sets of finishes, I think, in the league. But if you said that there's a sort of a thread running amongst them, it's that they would probably all be much more comfortable facing fast bowlers than spinners. And particularly would be not hugely comfortable facing a leg spinner, particularly one who sort of tosses the ball up and can use dimensions as well as Chahal, who's obviously got a huge amount of experience, hence that record he set tonight. And I think that probably showed pretty well. I think it was a textbook Chahal performance in a lot of ways, and that he did give the ball a chance to spin. He did use the dimensions well. If you think about people sort of dragging the wide balls from outside off stump towards the bigger boundary and getting caught in the deep, and I think he bowled pretty well, and I think it was a pretty sensible ploy from Rajasthan as well to use him to fix an area of weakness for them.
That's another chat we had, Bish, didn't we? Whether the boundary, the unequal boundary dimensions help a spinner or make their job harder, and it looks like Yuzvendra Chahal has shown that it is something that a spinner should enjoy or relish. Now, is he an exception because he's one of the best spinners in the game? Or has he set the standard perhaps for more spinners to try doing this? Do you possibly see more spinners doing this job?
To be absolutely fair, we've been seeing this trending a little bit more each passing season. Where you see Rashid Khan, one or two other guys, certainly back in the Caribbean as well, just inching overs last season, the season before, towards the back end. So we're going to see it more and more. And it's about guys who can go both ways. And that's the key that we pointed out. Well, certainly that's my feeling as well. So I do think we'll see it more and more. I often wonder, we have in the Caribbean the Amazon Warriors, who I think one season bowled about 16 overs of spin. Given the economy rate of spin, and particularly mystery spin in this format, I just wonder why teams don't play more spinners. And I've often asked, why don't they bowl deeper?
Yeah, and perhaps if we look at the next one's in the US and the West Indies, but where's the World Cup after that one?
Good question. I think there's
26. Bish, you already must have been signed up for that World Cup. Do you know where that is? 26. Is it in our part of the world again?
I think we have an Asian one again.
Yeah, every now and then it'll come here. So the amount of World Cups that anyway are here in the subcontinent, you sense this could be a prudent ploy. Start getting spinners to not just bowl middle overs, but spinners capable of bowling even on the short Indian grounds or small Indian grounds in the death here.
I suppose one of the things that we see generally in T20 cricket is that trends provoke a reaction. It might take a couple of years, but we've seen that, for example, there was a moment a couple of years ago where a lot of players were purposefully putting their best hitters of spin through the middle, and bowling teams would respond by starting to bowl their express pace bowlers through the middle overs, using them as enforcers, targeting weaknesses or perceived weaknesses against the short ball. Similarly, now we're seeing players with set entry points where they come in very late just so they can take down pace bowlers. So I think again it makes sense for bowling teams to respond to that and say we're gonna hold back the spinner for the end because of the fact we know we can get into them there. So I think it's definitely something we'll see more of, and could even be the case in this innings, because looking through the KKR team, we've seen visuals of Suyash Sharma at the interval already, and you'd imagine he'll come on as the impact sub. I think they could bowl. I doubt they will, but they could bowl 20 overs of spin with Anil Roy and Nitish Rana among the options as well.
Can't rule it out, and we must point out this has been. Yes, we just look at the options. The point Matt makes: the left out Vaibhav Arora, Suyash Sharma could come in. He could very well use Narayan early on, or even Varun Chakravarti early on, and give themselves lots of spin options. Nitish Rana's bowled successfully on some surfaces that have offered some turn, so don't rule it out. We must point out, though, we haven't seen Dew play as much of a role this year as we have in previous years. So we keep an eye out for whether KKR can make a game out of this. But we celebrate Yuzvendra Chahal at this point on the halftime show. It's an achievement that deserves a few moments of reflection, recognition. Wish goes past Dwayne Bravo, one of the greats of the modern game, certainly of the T20 format, and without a doubt of the IPL. It's nice to see Chawla and Mishra back in that. Ashwin's enjoying his most prolific season. But in the least number of games in that list, 143 and 187 for Yuzvendra Chahal, what an achievement.
And when you consider how many games he played at the Chinnaswamy as well, and then to get it in such a lesser amount of games than some of the others is brilliant. He's not a tall man, just very canny, knowing when to just throw it wide. He doesn't have the biggest spinning googly in the world. So great credit to him. And as I think Harsha rightly said, and as you're pointing out, a great of the IPL, and in Bravo's case, a great of the T20 format generally. So great congratulations to him. Bravo will probably be on social media congratulating him later as well.
Yeah.
Super performer.
Yeah, and I guess a bowler who, as you would have followed, Matt, as have I over the years, got better bowling to left-handers. At times, even the leg spinner was considered one that you use carefully in matchups. We saw him get Venki Iyer today, get Nitish Rana today. It's almost a nice little summation of how well he's bowled to both batters everywhere.
Yeah, and he's had 2 really good games in a row, actually, having had a quiet patch during the season. I think we were, already seeing him sort of towards the top of that list a few weeks ago, and then he's sort of been no wickets, 1 wicket in each game, but he's really come back into it in the last 2 games, thinking, he probably by all rights should have been the match winner in that Sunrisers Hyderabad game, but for a pretty remarkable cameo from Glenn Phillips. So to have done this 2 games in a row at this stage of the season, obviously hugely important for his team. But yeah, as a bowler, I think, as Bish points out, I think he's got over 50 wickets at the Chinnaswamy Stadium out of those 187, which is no mean feat, and he's someone as well who I think he contrasts really nicely with our Ashwin at Rajasthan, in that he's generally the more attacking of the 2, sort of has the option to toss the ball up, turn the ball both ways, and vary his pace really well. I think that's one of his big strengths that he's probably, that's probably improved over the course of his career, is that he knows when to sort of dial it up versus give it a bit more of a push through. But he's not trying to be something he's not as well, because he is quite different from a modern leg spinner, and he's much more old school. But it feels like he's reached a stage where he's comfortable with that, and he knows what he is and what he isn't. Yep,
yeah. And as we just look at that list one more time, you would also appreciate the fact that Dwayne Bravo bowled magnificently at the late stages of the innings, was a top-class death bowler. He's the only seamer there. That's testament to his longevity with the Super Kings and how well he's done for them. But all the other spinners there, I think now Chahal can, I know it's a recent job, but now Chahal's becoming a death bowler, bowling tough. He already bowled at a tough stadium with a good record. But with Chawla, Mishra, Ashwin on that list, these are bowlers that rely on the middle overs. Batters at times don't read them, pick them. Chahal's now doing a tough job, and I think he fancies it. It'll increase his appetite for wickets, and we might see him do this job regularly now.
It's been trending that way. Last year he got, I think it was at the Brabant, did he pick up 5 for 40 against the same opposition? And in the end,
it was a hat-trick, I think, in that game.
Yeah, KKR lost the game that they should have won because they were on target to chase 217 or something like that. So, look, it's good, and you can't bowl there unless you want it. The great death bowlers will tell you, Malinga, Bravo, you have to want it. If you don't want it, you won't last long in it if you just don't have a stomach for it. So great on him, and we can see now this evolving and trending throughout the IPL and maybe other T20 games.
I know one of your favorite themes is analyzing and almost making franchises feel bad for releasing and retaining players. good time to bring up the steal that he went for at the big auction. Let's call it that. And the fact that RCB had the option of retaining him, had the option of buying him back, and didn't.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll be looking tonight slightly sort of, rueful about what's happened, because Hasaranga's obviously, he had a very good first season with RCB and probably hasn't quite had the second season he would have hoped for. We've obviously seen Chahal with the purple cap as he had last year, and he's been a revelation for RR since they signed him. So I think a very canny bit of business from Rajasthan to pick him up for, I think, around 6.5 crore at the mega auction. So between him and Ashwin, the combined purse that they went for, I think they...
11.5. Ashwin went for 5, and
if you look at that as a bit of squad building, to have locked in 2 of India's best T20 spinners, you'd say, 2 of the top sort of handful at least. I think that's a pretty good bit of squad building from Rajasthan that they'll look back on pretty fondly, and RCB maybe less so, having released him and not bid him past what he sold for.
Yeah, I like you like reminding franchise teams. I like reminding national teams. So can't believe he didn't play in the World Cup. But anyway, we'll leave it there. Excellent achievement for Yuzvendra Chahal, and he is one of the likable characters of the game. He's opened up about some tough times that he had in this tournament early on. He's come through all of that, and he now is the most prolific wicket taker in the history of the tournament. Now, are we looking at a straightforward chase? No one has defended such a low score. The Eden Gardens has been a relatively high scoring ground this season, Bish, and I think for Rajasthan, this is just set. So are we expecting to see a straightforward chase, or is there still something in this from what you saw of the surface?
Well, my crystal ball doesn't work as well as yours, but I expect to see Rajasthan get this total, given what they've been through, losing so many games and only winning 1 out of the last, 6 matches.
Yes.
They should be desperate to chase this down. They'll throw spin at, let me rephrase that. They'll bowl spin at them.
Yes, that's good use. You don't use throw.
Quite early. And if I am KKR, you've got to fight with that and battle with it. But my fancy would be for Rajasthan to get across the line.
Excellent, excellent. You have an even bigger crystal ball than me. You've predicted these things. You already know who's winning the tournament, so now tell us what's happening tonight.
I think we'll see quite a scrappy run chase, given how much spin I'm expecting KKR to bowl. But I think Rajasthan will just get over the line, and who knows, we might even get a first bat in the IPL for Joe Root, and I think this could be the sort of situation, the sort of target that might suit him quite nicely.
How good was that? We finally see Joe Root in the IPL, and it's not him scoring a run, but I believe that's not new for his career.
Yeah, I think it's similar theme across his white ball debuts in I think ODI cricket, T20 international cricket, and now the IPL, not needed with the bat on debut. So generally it's worked out pretty well for him after those debuts in every other format. So who knows, maybe it'll be the same in this tournament.
Matt Roller talks about 20 overs of spin potential. He doesn't just say all that, with nothing. He digs deep. I mentioned that crystal ball that Bish refers to, and we're going to see Nitish Rana start things off for KKR, which is a fascinating conversation for a moment with Bish and Matt as the second innings is said to be underway. We also know confirmation now that Surya Sharma has indeed come on. They've not added more pace, but they've added the spin of Surya Sharma, which we thought. Yashasvi Jaiswal has been in great form, Bish. He's going to be facing an off spin. I don't know how often it's happened. Rana's taken the new ball. Give us some insight on whether this is brave. You know what? Why don't you wait 20 seconds? Take 20 seconds. Right. There we are. Now we know that Jaiswal's hit the first ball for 6.
What's your question?
My question is whether Nitish Rana's made a bold call, or one that you liked. Or?
It is bold. Any spinner who's bowling in the power play, particularly one who is not the front of the front line spinners, they're going to try to charge him, but he's taking a gamble. I want to see Sunil Narayan and Chakravarti come in with an over or 2 in the power play.
Yeah. Would you almost sense attack with spin first up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a carrot being dangled, isn't it? And, Jaiswal seems to have a taste for them.
All right. Bish says he fancies Rajasthan to get this. You're saying it'll be a scrapper, but they'll get there.
Yeah.
All right. Very well. I've been waiting for a super over, 57 games.
2 letters and a word for you. KM Asif. Got Russell out. One of the biggest wickets of the night.
Very good. And you know what's going to happen? He's going to play now. Yeah. And, well, I tell you what, this game's going to be over very quickly with the way that Nitish Rana's started the innings, or rather Jaiswal has started against him. So we leave it there. Thank you to Matt Roller and Ian Bishop. He's going to give me those 2 words of KM Asif at our review show.
They're not 2 words. They're not 2 words. They're 2 letters and a word.
Am I bad? I'm still learning on the job. Yeah. KM Asif will be discussed, as will the rest of the Royals' effort in what should be an end to this bizarre run of form that they've had. They look a good team. Let's see if they can get the job done against the Knight Riders. Join us for Visit Saudi Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout at the end of the game.